This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back, everyone. I feel that many of us know that we should be eating better. We know that there are better choices out there, but we don't even know where to begin with that. We're going to begin with that today from somebody who walks that journey with you when it comes to planning meals. I'm not using the word diet. We don't like that word, 4-letter, and has the word die in it. It's just not a positive word. But you just want to know what you should be buying when you go to a grocery store and what you can do with that. She's a registered dietitian, nutritionist, certified diabetes care and education specialist, certified LEAP therapist, and certified exercise physiologist, and so much more. And she's the person behind AB Nutrition Solutions. The solution is here. Abby Black joins us once again. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I never know what to buy when I go to the store. And I forget things. I need to write things down. Like I made a sandwich today, which I think is reasonably healthy. It takes a lot of inertia to get going on that, at least for me. But once I know that once I'm on the path, then it becomes easy. Like I'm robotic, pick this up, buy that, do it, rinse and repeat, all good. I don't even know where to begin with that. Do you hear that from people you work with?
Yeah, a lot of the times, because when people are trying to meal prep or get started with that, what does that exactly mean? And I think a lot of times it can be so overwhelming. And so that overwhelmness creates kind of like this hitting the brick wall of like, I don't even know where to begin. And so we have to break it down. If we have to do one meal of meal prepping and just start there, that's what's important. But I think a lot of times if we try to take on the whole week, one, our food may not be good after the towards the end of the week, because technically most foods you only want to keep in the refrigerator 3 to 4 days for safety measures. So that's one concern I have with doing a whole meal prep for a week. But then also too, what do we put in there? So when we're looking at different foods, thinking about, okay, what do you want your plate to look like? So typically, if you can have some carbohydrates, so whether that be pasta or rice or sweet potatoes, whatever sounds good for you in that moment, and then have some vegetables like maybe a salad or some steamed broccoli or even some fresh veggies. You can just either cut up yourself, or if that's too much work, buy them already cut up. And then just adding on the protein with that and fat. So just kind of looking at your plate from that angle and just taking it one step at a time.
I don't cook, so I'm even more at a disadvantage. And honestly, I'm going to admit it. I don't think in terms of someone who meal plans, like a chef. Like, example, I bought some grilled chicken on Friday. I had a gathering over the weekend, so I bought a bunch of stuff for that. But then I was like, oh, grilled chicken. I was like, oh, well, let me grab this. And there was some salsa. I put some chips out or whatever. And I love this salsa. And I was like, oh, I could add the salsa on top of that chicken for a quick, pick me up kind of midday need protein hit. And it was like, to me, that's gourmet. It was amazing.
Works.
It was
works.
It was so good. I was like, oh yeah, this is where it's at. This is what I got to be doing. I don't think like that. And even I buy stuff for a salad. I get bored. So today, here it is. This is my lunch. I made a wrap, and I bought some roast beef. Haven't bought it in a while, so I like it every once in a while. Low carb wrap, peppers. I bought them and I cut them up literally with a scissor. And just drop it in there. Some lettuce, little something, a little hot sauce in there. Just maybe a little pepper jack cheese on top, and then roll it up. That's my lunch.
Works.
So I'm thinking I'm getting some carbs, even though it's a lower carb wrap.
Right, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, getting the fat, getting the protein. So and vegetables. So I think that's kind of okay. But where do we start? Now, obviously, making a list. And is there like a rule that we can follow that, if you buy this, you can also use it for that? that kind of thing?
So making lists, like you said, is the number one priority because when we get into the grocery store, we can just go in and feel overwhelmed with all the different options. There's, thousands upon thousands of
Wow.
options there to pick from. And then you've got the in caps trying to like make you think you need that product and everything in between. It's just a pure place of marketing. So
Mm.
you're hit with marketing no matter where you look from the very bottom of the shelf all the way up to the top. And like I said, the end caps. So coming up with a list first helps us to minimize those impulse buys that we make first. And then again, you don't have to be a gourmet chef. You don't have to do much as far as preparation goes. So if you want to do a wrap and things like that for lunch, that's completely fine.
Okay. I have to, I don't think I fall victim to the end cap specials and all of that. It's got to
Mhm.
be something I'm buying anyway. I would never
Sure.
just walk by. It's like, oh, wait, let me get that. I don't do it because I don't get sucked in. Although it is interesting how when you go to the store, things are on the outside perimeter, as I understand it, and those are the better choices. So usually, if you go to the left, you got produce. You go to the right, at the end, you have dairy type products in there, and then the garbage is in the middle. Typically, yeah, I don't know. Is that true? Is that in the grocery store? Where you are?
That's what everybody says, and a lot of that can be true, but part of it too is that you still have a lot of products that are going to be in the middle with canned items. So, for example, if you don't want to cook the dry beans into a soup, you can buy the canned product and be able to get that in a much faster time frame. So, it's not everything you should avoid in the middle. It's just
Hmm.
being making mindful choices with
Oh yeah.
those.
Oh, I'm sorry if that wasn't clear. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, you're
Absolutely. But the better stuff, if you
Mhm.
will be to the left and the right, and then around the perimeter of the store. Produce
Typically.
on the left.
Mhm. Right.
I don't know if I ever told you this, but my friend manages one of those um, big wholesale type stores,
Mhm.
and they got paper towels and all this here. You buy it in bulk and all of that. Number one seller. You know what it is? Biggest money maker in those stores is produce.
Goodness.
I never even thought that. He goes, yeah, we
Mhm.
we spent a lot of time making sure it looks good and the displays are okay. And I would never have thought that even in stores like that, produce is a big deal. Um,
Mhm.
how about thoughts on produce? We talked before a little bit about organics and things like
Mhm.
that. Any overall thoughts?
The key is just getting in more produce because for the majority of us, we're not taking in enough produce, whether that's fruits, vegetables, or a combination of both. And so, really, it's not so much you have to worry about is this organic because that may not necessarily be financially feasible. It's more about the benefits are going to be just getting more consumption with fruits and vegetables.
Hmm. Are there any that are better than others or just add something?
Add something.
Okay.
That's the key. That is the key. I think really it's about variety. So, if you look at diabetes, there's a lot of like people saying you should avoid such and such fruit because it has too much sugar. And in reality, it's more about looking at total carbohydrates for someone with diabetes because sugar is already accounted for in the total carbohydrates. So with that, it's like you can have that fruit, also then incorporate other fruits or incorporate other vegetables because each one of them is giving you just a little bit different blueprint of nutrients.
Hmm.
And so that'll help kind of give you a better variety.
Once you find what you like, it's kind of fun. Like for me, I like peppers, green, red, whatever, yellow, not expensive, and buck and a half more if you get organic, maybe $2 more. Lasts a considerable amount of time. Kind of surprised, probably get sometimes 2 weeks out of it. Um, and for me, it adds some like zing to it. Even cucumbers, adding that to a salad, that kind of kicks it up a little bit more. And even on the fruit side, cherries are in season now. They're great, a little pricey,
Mhm.
but worth it. And you're getting some good stuff there, antioxidants in that as well with the fiber and all. Uh, what about dairy products?
So with dairy products, they can be a good source of as long as you're doing not the fat-free, the reason why I'm not a proponent of fat-free is because you're not going to have fat in there. So when you have the vitamin D in that product, so say it's milk, for example, you're not going to be able to absorb that vitamin D unless you're eating something else with fat. So I know, 10,
Oh,
20
wow.
years ago.
I'm gonna press the pause button on that.
Okay, that's
I think
fine.
this could be like a revelation moment. Are you saying that without the fat in the dairy product, you're not going to easily absorb the vitamin D?
Not as much because you need fat to absorb the vitamin D. So fat soluble vitamins, which are D, E, K, and A, all need some fat to be able to be absorbed. So I'm more like go for 1%. It's the happy medium. You get some fat, you get some other nutrients that aren't available in the fat free, and then you're not getting as much saturated fat as the 2% or the whole milk.
Wow. I never even knew that. Now, if you're eating something with it that has fat, let's say it's fat free dairy product, but you're eating something in your meal that has some fat in it, that would be okay. I would assume, right?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
that would be fine. Yep.
But if you're having yogurt, what's your goal with yogurt? It's better for you if it's all right. Let's say it's Greek yogurt, then you get fat free. Obviously, dairy, you got some vitamin D in there, good source of protein, got some carbs in there, but no fat. It's kind of counterproductive. I never knew that.
Right. Yeah. So if you do buy fat free, which it is hard sometimes to find, I was just looking at Greek yogurts this weekend, and it's hard to find Greek yogurts that aren't fat free, that don't have all the gels and all those things added to it, or
Mm.
the gums. So it's kind of hard to find that. But I added walnuts, so that would give me some fat onto the yogurt with the blueberries, for example, that I put together.
Yeah, and plus you're getting some crunch in there too.
Right. Exactly.
You know,
Change
that
it up.
these are the things, the non-chef over here doesn't even consider. You could get not fat free, but Greek yogurt, just straight out Greek yogurt, no flavors, no, you want be cool if you could put fruit in there, but what is that? Just all like garbage, sugary gels, stuff that you usually put in it. But just buy some fresh blueberries and some of those walnuts and sprinkle it in there. To me, that's magic and
Mhm.
seems healthy.
Right, right.
Mm.
You're getting that good balance of carbohydrates, fat, and protein. You're also getting in some of your fruits. So you start off, if you have that in the morning, you start your day off well.
Oh, you're exciting me.
Just trying to do simple ideas
But
because,
it's
you
like you're
know,
pushing the cart. You don't think of this kind of stuff. It's like, oh yeah, I could do that. And then for me, I don't want to beat myself up, but I'm a moron when it comes to this stuff. Like I'll do something and forget about it like a month later, and then like that reminder comes up. Yes, have I added fruit to yogurt? Yeah, totally forget to do it. And just a little bit of even granola. Don't overdo it because there's kind of a lot of fat in it or whatever. Add so much like crunch to something that could be a little on the bland side. Vitamin D, we don't realize how important it is.
mhm.
And is it true that you need vitamin D to help you absorb other vitamins and nutrients?
So you need vitamin D there's a lot of different processes, which I don't want to get too much into the biochemistry here, but a lot of different processes that vitamin D is important for. So when we're thinking about, depending on where we're at in the northern hemisphere, we may not even be able to readily absorb enough vitamin D to keep our levels at a stable amount. So having the vitamin D helps with different processes, also can help with depression. There's a lot of different benefits for it.
Mm. So, not about me, but I share this because it was kind of surprising. A year ago, just did routine labs, and my vitamin D level was the lowest the doctor has ever seen in anybody, like almost barely detectable. And
Oh,
I guess I had a little brain fog, was a little moody back then, just like wasn't feeling me. All it took was a prescription for vitamin D, like 50,000 units, once, literally one pill once a week. And that was it to get back on track. And now I'm mindful of it. So I take some supplements here and there, some dairy products, but as I understand it, it's so important because you need it for, like you said, it runs deep how important that is. And great to get it from the sun. but also, skin cancer and,
Right.
and other things.
Balancing. Yeah.
Balance it out. Exactly
Yeah.
right. I have a friend he's a fitness trainer. He's into nutrition. He's on this quest pushing people to get more sun. Like he posts every day about how important it is, how we're missing out, devices that we're on, counterproductive and all of that. And he runs deep even into the research. He's on a crusade, like
Mhm.
almost like a sun crusade. How about some other thoughts when it comes to meal planning or shopping?
So with meal planning, one thing is, again, I think the simplest is the better. So you don't have to be this gourmet chef to be able to make this happen. And so it really gets to, okay, maybe you forgotten a month ago, that you were doing the yogurt with the blueberries and the walnuts or other nuts, things like that. So potentially writing down a list of different ideas. So that way, when you feel stuck as far as like, I don't know what to make, I feel like I'm making the same thing all the time, you can go through that list of what you're making and pick something off of there. Or if you're feeling up to it, go Google just something that's like easy sheet pan recipe.
Ah,
I recommend that so often
what is it?
because
Say it again.
it's just like sheet pan recipes. And I recommend that a lot for clients because it's something you can throw in the protein, throw in the veggies, put them in the oven and be done. So it takes a lot of time away from that cooking prep and makes it doable.
Hmm. Why why sheet pan? Just easy?
Easy. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm always trying to look for simple ways to help my clients to make foods on their own without having to rely on restaurants quite a bit. And so it's something that a lot of my clients have really come to enjoy. Obviously, we want to change it up. So I don't want you to have sheet pans forever, but just making sure that they're easy, they're not going to take a lot of your time, and you don't really have to stand there at the stove and watch them constantly.
Hmm. What about smoothies? Now,
Mhm.
there's a lot of good in there, but it can go kind of bad if put the wrong stuff in there where it's just you're not really helping yourself. What are your thoughts?
Mhm. So with a smoothie, you're right. You want to have that balance again. So if you're just putting in, if you're using juice instead of water or milk or a milk substitute, and if you're just doing fruit, you're not going to have any other nutrients besides carbohydrates. And so what you want to do actually is add in some protein, add in some fat. So you could put in that Greek yogurt, for example, or if you have dairy intolerance, you could instead just do water and then add in some chia seeds, some flax seeds. You could add avocado,
What
honestly.
what
It's not
about
going to
what
give
about
flavor.
oat milk or almond milk or
You
something
could
like
do,
that?
yeah, you could do that. The key with those, though, is that they don't have very much protein. So if you're trying to substitute it from a dairy milk, you're not going to have as much protein in there as you would with the regular dairy. But yeah, those would be fine too.
Mm. What's your thoughts on protein powders?
I'm very picky. So I will say that none that I have seen on the store shelf or online am I truly, truly happy with them. I just want the pure protein, but there's so many other additives that most companies are putting in there that I'm like, I don't want that anymore. So it's not something that I usually am going to recommend. Typically, sometimes we don't have an option and we have to just to try to get in some more protein some way. But I feel like companies could do a lot better with not adding in so many extra ingredients.
Mm. It sounds like in your journey and research, there's really no protein powders that are just give me almost pure protein. Like,
No, no, unfortunately.
oh, that hurts. Because it's so convenient and easy.
It
Um,
is. It is.
and I'm going to share with you that friend that I was mentioning. He just did a rant about protein powders, and he's a fitness trainer in the Hamptons.
Mhm.
The Hamptons. He doesn't live
Mhm.
there. He just goes there. He says, higher end clients, if you will. And he was actually saying, some man walks in and he went to a store and they told him he needed to buy protein powders, like $50 for the can. And he's like, no, it's not good for you. It's all chemicals. It's all make believe. And this is the same person who years ago, he was just looking at my diet. He goes, dude, you got to cut back on the dairy. I'm like, what are you talking about? I have some yogurt, a little bit of cheese. He goes, the protein powder is whey. You have whey protein powder. It's dairy. I didn't even realize it. So all I was eating all day long was dairy type products. Didn't even realize that. I want to ask you a little digression here, but your thoughts on this. It is almost the staple for some American diets, some of us. I ate a lot of it over the weekend. I had a party and had extra pizza. How good? How bad? What are your thoughts?
So really, I love pizza. I will say that. So I try to incorporate it in when I can. Honestly, you can, let me say that, you can get a good variety of nutrients with the pizza because you're thinking about the crust, you're getting carbohydrates, you're getting the tomato sauce, you're typically, depending if that's what you're using, and then you can add in some veggies, you can add in some different types of protein to give you that balance. And you've got the cheese typically too with the protein and fat.
All right, so I see it in a different way. If you're going to do it, add something to it.
Right.
Because you can, I love peppers. Again, green peppers when they're cooked, they have just an awesome flavor. And over the weekend, I had somebody ordered mushroom pizza. I'm not a big fan of mushrooms, but that was good. And you're getting the cheese, so you're getting the protein there. I would think you don't want to overdo the carbs. So I would think you could be pretty good with pizza, add some vegetables on top of it, but the full crust, maybe not eat all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like empty carbs.
Well, but it's still giving you carbs because we don't want to take out all of our carbs. We do need the carbs for our brain to function properly. We do need the carbohydrates for energy.
But you have the base of the pizza as you eat it. There's all carbs right there.
That's true.
Bread product, and that now you just the crust is just it's like eating bread.
The crust is the best part.
I know. Great.
So I'm gonna eat it.
You know what, Abby? There's a lot of times I'll say I'm not gonna eat the crust. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm gonna make it more healthier. And then I get there and I'm like, don't do it, don't do it. I'm like, all right, just one bite, and then another bite, and then I'm like, whatever. But you're right.
I say enjoy your food. It's not about blaming yourself for your food choices. It's more about, okay, so I'm going to have pizza this weekend. That's fine. We're just going to have other things in addition to it the rest of the weekend to balance it. Or maybe I'll have some veggies on the side with the pizza. So I'm not having a lot of pizza. I'm having, again, a couple different foods together.
Yeah, I had a lot. You know what? I had to get rid of it. And I didn't want to freeze it. Had to get rid of it. And nobody was taking it. Everybody took some. So now I'm stuck with it. This is what you do. You can help us, whether it's shopping, whether it's meal planning. You can do this virtually for anybody, right?
Yes.
How do we find you?
So my website is abnutritionsolutions.com, and my phone number you can call or text is 269-369-2347.
You make it easy, you make it fun and non-judgmental. It's not like you're cracking the whip. You can have your cake and eat it too, if you will. Just make healthier choices. But for most of us, we don't know what those choices are. So that's where you come in. Thank you so much for today. I'm kind of excited to go shopping again. I really am.
Good.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
We'll talk soon.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.